Evening, folks. Thanks for coming along. You're all welcome. Hello, Paranormal Chapel. Dobie's here as well, and Nicole. Thanks for coming along. Welcome to Paranormal History's interview with Kaz from Project Paranormal. So thanks for coming along, Kaz. We hope you're well.
Yes, good.
We're not going to give you the third degree or anything. Sarah's going to put the questions. Sarah's got a wee system. She puts questions up on the screen for you. As I said, you might get some questions from the comments. Obviously, everybody's comments are welcome. So if you're ready, Kaz, Sarah will start our wee thing. There you go.
There you go. So how did you get into the paranormal?
I was never, ever into the paranormal. I didn't even believe in the paranormal. It was like absolute nonsense. But David wanted to go on a paranormal investigation, like an event at the Cathedral House Hotel, about 15 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, not sure. And yeah, things happened that I just couldn't. I couldn't explain back then. I still can't explain now. So it totally changed my mind. And then he wanted to kind of keep it going. We went on a few more events. And then eventually he decided to set up his own team. And I just kind of floated about in the background, kind of not really officially in the team, I suppose, but always kind of there anyway. And then eventually it just kind of happened that the two of us with a couple of other members actually formed our own team and kind of been doing it ever since.
Good stuff.
So you've been actually quite a while then.
Right, there's my next question. How long have you been investigating? Roughly.
I think it's about as part of the team.
Yeah.
Probably as part of the team, probably about, I don't know, what, about 6 years? I'm kind of guessing at the moment.
You don't need an exact time.
Investigating. I've been investigating longer than that, but probably as part of the team, yeah, about 6 or 7 years, probably. Maybe longer, yeah.
So if you could investigate anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I've got two.
That's fine.
Bangar, is it? I don't know how to say it. Is it Bangar Fort in India?
Right.
I don't really know why. I just find it quite appealing. It's somehow you're not even allowed in after dark. The government the government shut it down after dark. You're not even allowed in. I think is it cursed or it's just so active. So that's one, and Alcatraz is the other. I've just always fancied going there.
Alcatraz is kind of high on everybody's list.
I'd love to do Alcatraz. It's I mean, I've seen films and documentaries and that about it, and it just looks an amazing place, and I would really. I doubt we'll ever get there, but it is on the list.
I know.
So that other place is shut off at night time.
Yeah, I believe so. They close it and go for like hours during the day. I believe at night I think security is that high. I'm not even allowed at night. I think it's meant to be quite dark. But yeah, it's always kind of. I like the old temples. It just looks amazing, I think.
A lot of the old buildings are quite amazing. See, that's like the Covenanters prison in Greyfriars. That's closed off now. You're not allowed in there, not unless it's on a scheduled tour.
Yeah, you can. I believe you can get private tours in it. I think they're all cancelled at the moment. But yeah,
we looked into that, and it was like £220 for an hour and a half's tour.
Is it?
Yeah,
Really?
we looked in a couple of weeks, not a couple of weeks ago, sorry, a couple of months ago. I contacted them, City of the Dead tours in Edinburgh, it's them that do it, and the guys are actually £220 for an hour and a half, and it's up to yourself what you do. That's quite pricey, isn't it? So it's up to yourself what you do, and that you can have an investigation, or the guide can take you around the places entirely up to yourself. So we kind of scrap
that. Is that
the
maximum time you can have?
Aye, that's for if you book in, it's an hour and a half. So, I mean, you know yourself, with paranormal, you can sit for hours and not get anything. So, an hour and a half, it's no really. It's long enough to have a wander around, I think, and take some photographs and what have you. But to do an actual investigation, it's not very much time. You could go and you could be lucky, you could get something within the first 10 minutes. You never know, but no. So £220 if you want to go to Covenanters prison for a tour.
Yeah.
So in your next one, there it is.
So far, what is your favourite location that you have investigated?
The Menzies Castle up near Aberfeldy, that's brilliant. You get great activity there, and we've actually heard like a spirit sing there, so that was brilliant. That's probably my favourite, I think, so far. I'm just trying to think. Yeah,
we had somebody on.
I would say that's probably my favourite.
We had a team on last week, and the guy he was talking about Menzies Castle. That was his first ever investigation that he went on, and they got quite a lot. He was saying he lost time as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I remember saying Menzies Castle. Evening, Brett. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're well, buddy. Remember, as always, folks, if you want to get any links, just feel free to just drop them into the chat at any time.
Nicole, and Nicole will do it for you.
Yes, Nicole will do it for you, sorry. He was saying it was the first time he'd ever been on an investigation, and he says, what a night they had. So I quite fancy doing there for what he was saying.
It's brilliant. We don't do a lot of investigations. I think that's what really helps with it.
We've not been out. We've done 2 in here over the past 3 weeks, I think. And that's it. We've not been out for, I can't remember, the last time we were out. Saturday will be the first time we've been out in maybe 2-3 months.
Well, we were at that Priory. But other than that.
But we weren't either, I can't say the Cambus Nethin. We went there and Cambus Nethin. Hi Eli, thanks for coming in, buddy. Hope you're good. We went there and we planned to go down into the basement, into the cellar, but just the way the grass was, and there was loads and loads of nettles. Sarah couldn't manage, so I went down with the camera and I didn't wander around. But I think it'd be quite interesting in the basement for an investigation.
I've never been in the basement. I've never been down there. I've been in the Priory, I think, 3 or 4 times, but I've never actually gone into the basement.
Oh, the basement's amazing. Hi, Stevie. Thanks for coming in. Stephen, sorry. It's surprising with the basement because when we got there was one of the guys one of the caretakers who looks after the land. I was talking to him, and basically he said, "Listen, mate," he said, "the building itself is falling to bits, but the basement is absolutely solid." And when you look at the building, it does look a wee bit dodgy. But as you said, the basement's totally fine. If you can get into it, then you can stay as long as you want. So it's definitely worth a wee visit. Evening, Kirk. Welcome, buddy.
Into the Priory?
No, we never got into the Priory, no. I know you mean into the actual building.
Into the actual building, yeah.
You can get in.
You need to be
It's it's quite overgrown and what have you, but to the basement, the basement. But there's he was telling us as well, we couldn't find it. He says on your road out, he says there's an old air raid shelter.
There is. So I've not found it yet either, but I know there is.
A Tudor roadway. But we couldn't find it. But we're going to get back. Yeah. We're going to get back done. Hi, Bob Paranormal. Thanks for coming in, buddy. There's just that. One problem we found is, I don't know if you get the same problem as getting access to places. You know, we've been a couple of occasions, and you're all buzzed up. You're looking forward to the investigation.
Can be an issue, yeah.
We went to one in Glasgow, the old Gaff Lock mental asylum. Mental. Can't get in. We went up and we're buzzing because we thought right.
But you just can't get in it.
No, it's
Lennox Castle.
That's
Lennox. But there's one near us. It's a huge building, and we want to go in there. And we drove around one day. There's a track that leads you into it. And we found a track that takes you into it, so we're kind of buzzing because we found this track. We thought, right, we'll go down, but we picked the day that they were pulling down the forest.
Right.
It's been bought over, and the guy's turning into some kind of hotel or something. So the one day that we found the track, there were bulldozers and JCBs, and they were pulling down trees.
Is there no access to that now?
No. So they're
saying that, I've seen hundreds of folk recently putting pictures up on Facebook. So I don't know how they've got in.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't really fancy it. Found it. I had found it just randomly on the maps, and I was pure buzzing to go. And then obviously we went the day that they were chopping down all the trees and stuff around about it, and I was pure raging.
Yeah.
I think I actually put a status up on our Facebook saying that
that's a lot of the times with abandoned places.
I think there is when you drive by it, you can just in the middle of a forest. It's hard to explain, and you can drive round the forest in the country road. But the next spot on the road that you can actually see the building, it looks miles away. You know, so if you're willing to take a good trek across maybe 2 or 3 big fields, and you could maybe get into it that way.
Yeah.
But the only access we could find was the track, and they said they were pulling down the forest. We thought, no chance. Thanks very much for that, Eli. The Lockdown Castle as well. We're down there if you've been there or not.
No, where's that?
Lockdown Castle.
It's down the
Oh no, I've driven by. I've not been in.
We went down there, but we didn't realise. We imagined that when you pull off the main road, the castle was just kind of sitting there. But it's about an 8 miles or something on a wee track to take you into the actual castle.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
we found out the hard way. Do you know what I mean? You thought, right, we can get in. I said, where's the castle? And we're driving. So where is this castle? And it was maybe a good 8 mile down this wee track. It takes you right down the side of the lot, but what a trek it was down there. So if you're ready for the next question, then
have you ever experienced or came across a negative spirit?
There used to be an abandoned mansion down by Dumfries, sort of near Lockerbie probably, and that place was pretty, it was pretty negative in there. some of the stuff that was coming through the ITC was just extremely dark, and I've heard that they've pulled the house now and they've built flats into the flats, so I would imagine that they're probably experiencing some pretty weird goings on in there.
There's a good chance it's connected to the land and not the building.
That's probably the worst. And yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was pretty negative. I mean, I've done East Drive, and I wouldn't have said there was anything particularly negative there the time that I did it. Yeah, that's probably the worst, I think.
So you've done East Drive?
Yeah.
So do you think it's actually haunted or not?
I think it probably is, but I don't think it's haunted by what they say it's haunted by.
The Black Monk?
No, I don't see that happening.
No, the reason I'm asking is because we had a guest on last Friday, I think it was, and he was talking about East Drive. I think he's done it as well, and he went into kind of detail about it. So I've seen in documentaries and YouTube, etc. as well, and I know there's some ghost shows done it, and they always seem to come up with something. There he's there. In fact, above paranormal, that's a gentleman there.
Yeah, I agree.
So just when you says you've done East Drive, you know, I remember the chat for last week, the Buckfast monk. I'd like to go myself just to have a wander about. I know there's a woman looks after it, and then there's another guy.
I'm glad I went, and I'm glad I've done it. Yeah. I'm glad I've done it. I think it's one that's good to experience, but I don't think you should go in with any expectations of it. I think it's one of these places that's done. I mean, it's hired out every single night. It's investigated. It's far too. It's just investigated far too often. It's just been done to death, basically.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, David's done it twice.
It's been done and done and done
again. I think the first time he was there was more active. Sorry?
It's been done and done and done again, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
I read.
Have you ever had a spirit follow you home?
Well, this actually goes back to one of your questions. Actually, I forgot about this place. We did an Yarm Fellowship Hall down near Middlesbrough, I think. And it's kind of like a church hall. And it doesn't really look much from the outside, and it's just like a hall and like a storage room. But we were there with a medium and a few other people, and it turned out that the main spirit in there wasn't particularly nice to children, shall we say. So that all finished and the investigation ended. And then a few weeks later, I think David was doing a live in the house, and it started driving off like every single person that was at that investigation. And it turned out that it was the minister. And it turned out that it was the minister that followed us back. So that's been the only one, I think. That quickly get sent packing.
Quickly got evicted.
That's the only one. It did, yeah.
Any advice for teams starting out?
I think don't rush into things. I think it's fine taking advice from other teams and kind of watching them for like hints and things like that. But every team's different, so you'll find your own way. I wouldn't go spending an absolute fortune on equipment either. I mean, the stuff that we've bought and then sold, or we've still got in the cupboards that we just don't use anymore. So everyone has got their own way of doing it. It's just like find your own footing, basically, I think.
To just I got a compliment for you, and I agree as well. What I've seen so far, I've watched quite a few of your videos and what have you, and you seem to be spot on the ball, as they say. So you basically, as you say, every team works different, you know, and you're going to have different team members with different opinions and views, and you know, we were talking this last night. You get some team. There'll be team members that are kind of like, right, let's just go for it. We're going to find some ghosts, and you know, kind of stuff like that. I think it's better. This is my opinion, to go in with kind of laid back attitude. You know, no big expectations, or you know, nothing like that. So that's just my opinion on it. Would you say that's kind of right way to?
Yeah, that's how I would do it. I mean, I'm pretty laid back in when I do my investigations. Even me and David work totally different when we're investigating. I mean, he's probably more professional with it, I would say, whereas I'm more kind of casual with it, I think.
Whatever happens.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's totally. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think everyone should go in open-minded, just because like a location's maybe said to have one particular or like a couple of minutes in a location. It might not be them that you communicate with that night. So I think you should always be open-minded about what you're going in to see.
Do you think? I know there's some teams about that take that make sure they've got a skeptic on their team. You know, what do you think about that idea? I'm kind of 50-50 on it.
We don't have a specific skeptic. See, we don't have one that's specifically skeptical. We're all quite like. I think everyone should debunk or should try and debunk anyway. I don't think it. I don't think everyone should jump to the automatic paranormal. You should try and see like what might have caused it or whatever. So I think everyone should automatically have a bit of skepticism in them when they're investigating anyway. I don't think you need a specific person for that.
So I've heard a couple of teams, and they've always got one guy or a woman, whatever, and they don't believe in the paranormal, you know, but they take them along to try and convince them, and 9 times out of 10 they don't convince them. Spirits get to know you.
I think if you're going to have a skeptic, he needs to be open-minded with it, though. I don't think at any point having a skeptic is just a complete non-believer, and it's not going to matter what happens.
I was kind of 50-50. When I first watched them, I was kind of 50-50 on that idea, because, I mean, I've watched a lot of ghost shows on YouTube and I'd never ever seen, you know, a team with a total skeptic on it, so I was kind of surprised about it when I watched it, and I'm thinking, you know, I don't know if that's a good idea, is it a bad idea, but, you know, at the end of the investigation, the guy came away thinking, nah, I still don't believe in it. But Steve says there, spirits get to know you. I agree with that, Steve. You know, the more you go to a location, then I think the more they'll get to be familiar with you. Would you think, Kaz? Do you think they will get to know you?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's above paranormal saying there's healthy skepticism, then there's the totally unenlightened.
Right. That's basically what you were saying, Kaz. You know, there's, you know, you didn't need to get an investigation, kind of know a non-believer, but a wee bit of skeptical, as you say. A lot of these teams go and the minute they walk in the gate or whatever it is, they'll hear maybe a stone falling or something. And I think, well, that's a spirit,
Mhm.
right away.
Yeah.
Or they'll see a tree will move
And it's
and
windy
cause a
outside
shadow.
of me.
Aye,
Yeah.
a tree will cause a shadow on a wall or something. It's had you seen
I
a
know.
shadow figure out there, so we're onto something. But no, you do need that wee
Mhm.
bit of skepticism. I take it means something else by that.
Anyway, what is your most used piece of equipment?
In ITC, it's really mostly what we use. Um, we do use REM pods and K2s and other stuff, but I mean, I'm not a medium or a sensitive or anything like that. So I don't really sense anything. So yeah, the ITC's my main one.
Have you
Have you ever refused to go back to a location after investigating?
No, I don't think I ever would. I don't think you could give me a location that I would refuse to go to. Yeah.
you just basically go anywhere?
I thought, yeah, I would. I mean, as a team, we generally stick more to the lighter side of like the investigating and the spirits and stuff. But I wouldn't have an issue going pretty much anywhere, I think.
Look,
I
I
don't
agree
do the
with you,
hoping
Karen.
side of things. I wouldn't do that. Sorry?
I totally agree with you. I mean, we'll go anywhere. There's no point in being, doing what we're doing if you're going to be scared to get into a building because it's got a bad reputation or something. You've maybe read a book about it or something, and so don't go there, kind of thing.
Those above paranormal
There
saying
you
I
go.
refuse to go back to East Drive being ripped off once would be enough.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
They must make quite a wee bit of money out of that place then if it's getting investigated every night.
But it's
It
not
must be.
cheap. I mean, it's about, I think it's $3.50 a night for a small team. And they're making that every night. Yeah, so they're making a packet.
So I mean, 7 nights a week. I'm not good at counting, but about two and a half grand or something, maybe. I don't know, something like that, maybe.
I think it's, see if you've got an event.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing an event, like if you've got more than 10 people or something, the price goes up as well, I'm sure. So yeah, they make a pretty penny there.
Is it somebody that owns the house? Does somebody actually still own it?
Yeah, someone owns it, and then the woman next door is like the caretaker. But yeah, I don't really know where the owners live. I think they live down south somewhere. But the
Maybe
woman
the
next door
Bahamas or something.
is the one that lets it in, and she takes it.
I watched Paranormal Lockdown. They done it, and I seen that woman was in it. They were talking to the woman, and she was saying, "Oh, once you go in there, I don't go in. I don't get into the house at all, and nobody will go in. What have you?" The guy who made the film about the house, he owns it. It must be. Was that? Where's Andy with Granny again?
The guy who made When the Lights Go Out. All right.
Is that? I've heard of that film. I'll need to look that film up. I've no watched it. I'm just looking at some of the comments, guys. Where's Andy? Granny will be back this weekend, Kirk. She'll be back on Eddie's streaming Sunday. I'll explain that later to you, Kaz. The Granny bit. It's
Have you ever left halfway through an investigation?
No. don't think it ever would either.
We have. I've got to put my hand up and say that we
Yeah.
have. We left Canongate Kirk in Edinburgh because it was just, I don't know. It was a weird night, so it was.
Yeah.
It was just a total weird night.
It was we were going up to Greyfriars to do Greyfriars at 3 a.m. and but we go to Edinburgh early, so we decided to do, you know, just wee short videos starting up at the castle and working away down the Royal Mile, and we went down to Canongate, and it was a really kind of heavy, suppressed kind of atmosphere. As soon as you walked into the gate, walked through the gates, and it just didn't. It's hard. Usually things like that don't bother. It doesn't freak me out, but just this one particular night, you know, I was like, no, it's no. I still done a walk round. It didn't stop me walking. It sounds daft. I still took the camera and walked around the place and filmed it. But Sarah felt totally weird, and I felt I had that kind of feeling of if something bad was going to happen. You know, that kind of feeling of dread.
Yeah.
But luckily enough, nothing happened. We headed up to Greyfriars after it, and the further we got away from Canongate, the feeling disappeared. It was just a weird feeling. That's the only time.
Do you do anything in particular before an investigation for protection?
I like my crystals. I use them. I do the white light, like the ball of light around you. I know a lot of folk do like prayers and stuff. I'm not religious, so I don't do that. But yeah, I think a lot of it is like you have to believe it's going to protect you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like don't just do it just for the sake of it. You have to have the belief that it's going to protect you.
Have you ever been scratched or hurt during an investigation?
No. No, it's never happened at all to me.
I get scratched once in Greyfriars, but the week prior to it, I had chapped on the door of Mackenzie's tomb with a walking stick. So I think I was getting a warning.
That was quite weird. That time was just 3 wee scratches. It wasn't anything major, but they disappeared. They didn't last very long. I don't know. They weren't there very long. But it was kind of weird. We're not saying, you know, we're not saying it's paranormal. It was just one of these weird things that we couldn't explain. You know, I think that was the last time we've been back there. So we've not been back. We've not had the chance to get back there. Have you ever done Greyfriars?
I've been a couple of times. I've never investigated it. I've done it with one of those City of the Dead tours, like the walk around thing, and I've walked around it, but I've never actually investigated it.
How did you feel when you were? Did you get any sort of feeling
I
when you
felt
walked
fine,
in?
to be honest, but I don't really feel like atmospheres or anything. I'll only occasionally I'll feel like if it's somewhere really oppressive or something. I don't really get that very often, and I felt okay walking around it.
Look, I like that because I love Greyfriars. I've been to Greyfriars. I've lost count of times I've been to Greyfriars, to be honest.
Yeah.
And a lot of people kind of dread going, you know, because obviously they've all heard the stories about it and, you know, watched different stuff. And it's said to be the most haunted graveyard in the world. So a lot of people think, you know, they dread getting in, and when they walk in, they're kind of scared and, you know, get the heebie-jeebies, basically. But I've always found it, you know, quite calming. She does about paranormal. She's Scottish as well, so that's a bonus.
We do, don't we?
We're not all daft. No, don't believe what you hear.
If you go to a location and get nothing, what do you do?
Not much. Hold your hands up and say we got nothing. Don't sit and try
But
and do
you still put your footage up though?
Yeah, probably. We do a lot of the history side of it as well, like the history of the locations. So yeah, you can just I mean, you don't need to put like 40 minutes of nothing happening up. You can just put like 10 minutes of a bit of history. But yeah, I mean, we wouldn't try and exaggerate. We don't do that. So what happens, happens. If nothing happens, then cool.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I think you're better, you know, if you go on an investigation, you get nothing. I think you're better putting the footage up, whether it's 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever, because I think it also shows, you know, whoever's watching that you are genuine, you know, because there's a lot of these teams out there, if they get nothing, they'll get somebody to stand behind them and throw a brick or something, you know, just to make a noise. I think it shows people are watching that he's are genuine, that you can turn around and say, look, we've got nothing here, but you know, we still had a good night, or you know, you still watch.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea to put the footage up.
So, last question from us. How has your opinion changed about the paranormal compared to your younger years?
I don't really know. I mean, from my first investigation when I didn't believe, I know I'm a total believer. I do still, from the very start, I was always quite like, try and debunk what you can, and then what can't be debunked, then yeah, it's possible. But I wouldn't say my opinion of, are you meaning of like the spirits, or are you meaning of like, what do you...
Just in general. These are just kind of very general, broad questions.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more accepted now than what it was when I first started. There's so many more teams about, it's more talked about. It used to be kind of taboo that it never really was spoken about or anything like that. Yeah, I just think that's probably the main thing that it's changed. But
Facebook Lives as well.
Yeah, the Facebook Lives has kind of changed the way that people investigate as well. It's not all like just filmed work and then put up, or all done in like private and behind closed doors now. It is a lot more public. Even if it's not like a public event, like private teams can like show where they're going, or like locations, and like people. I mean, I know a lot of people that watch us from all around the world that have got like mobility problems that just can't get out, and it gets a way of like. First of all, it gives them like a way of communicating with the outside world, and it also gives them a chance to see locations that they would never ever be able to see. So I think that's probably the main way that, to me, that it's changed, that you can showcase what you're doing live, basically.
And you can communicate as well, like that.
Yeah.
Hey, life after life. Thanks very much for coming in, buddy. But no, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree, Kaz. It's more. I mean, if you go back maybe even 20 years, I've been into the paranormal for like say 25 plus years, something like that, and even going back like say 20, 25 years, I don't think. Well, if my memory serves me right, it wasn't spoke about as much as it is today.
No.
Even as you say, there's loads and loads of teams out there that are on Facebook, YouTube, all sorts of platforms. And you've got the ghost shows and all the rest of it. And it is a more talked about subject. And with as you say, with the Facebook Lives, there are people, sitting at home that, as you say, mobility problems, whatever their circumstances are, that they can't get out, like say, take for maybe Edinburgh Castle. I know there's a lot of folk maybe love to go to Edinburgh Castle. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
And they can't, but they can sit and watch one of your lives, or somebody's live, and they can feel. It might sound daft, but they can feel if they're there as well. If that makes sense.
Exactly. They can take part in it almost, because they're communicating with they're communicating with me, or they're communicating with other people who are commenting as well, and it's a way of almost like forging friendships as well.
He's bang on. That's a gentleman who was on the other night. What do you think about these ghost shows and stuff? Do they help us or hinder us?
I'm probably going to pretty much agree with them. I think initially they helped big time, because they made it if it wasn't for those TV programs in the first place, it wouldn't have become what it has become now. But now, yeah, it has given it a bit of a bad rep, I think. Just because everything, the TV program, I don't watch them, so I don't really, but from what I gather, they're kind of not true to form at all times.
We were talking about this last night on a live. It's how all the shows, especially the ones, there's a few, without naming names obviously, and they'll go into a place and then something will happen and they put on the theatrical screaming and the arms going, ah! And it's like, you go into a place searching to find something, yet when you find it, you run.
Yeah.
There's too much theatrics. I watch a lot of them, and there's too much drama put into them, and as Above Paranormal says, they give a totally wrong impression of investigation. I mean, you obviously have been out in many investigations, Sarah and I have been out. We've not been out in a lot, but we know what it's about, and when you watch some of these, shows, you think, no, that's not right. That's not what happens. You don't, maybe show them in a cemetery for half an hour and they're all going nuts because there's lights going off and shadows everywhere. And you think, I sat in a graveyard for 8 hours the other night and nothing happened. But you guys capture it in half an hour. How do you, what's your trick, basically?
Are you the folk asking you why things not happening?
Like, why is nothing happening? But to me, it's some of these I watch some of them. I mean, there are a handful of them that are just total nonsense, and sometimes Sarah falls asleep, I'll stick one on just to cheer myself up, just to watch it. I know it's a load of trollop, but I'll just stick it on anyway, just to watch them running about screaming and shouting at doors and mirrors and stuff. Because it can be quite funny. Do you know what I mean? It is good to watch, but then with comedy added, embrace it when something happens. No, that's right, Stephen. If you get a result or whatever, a bit of evidence, and grasp it, because as everybody knows, it can be few and far between. Life After Life, you see my videos exactly about that, but with a bit of comedy added. What do you think of that, Kaz? We were talking about this last night as well, I think, and we watched a particular show, and they've managed to find, they combine comedy with an investigation. They were on our live 2 weeks ago or something, and they're really, really good. But they managed to combine the comedy with a live investigation, and it seems to work. I'm not saying that.
It heightens the energy in the room as well, I think. We have a laugh, and I think it's quite good to have a laugh and a joke and as well, because I think it just adds to it. I think it's not all serious. Not everyone just wants to watch people all do their face all the time.
I think you just it heightens the energy, and again, this is my opinion, but if it heightens it, you know, our energy in the room, then I think there's more chance of spirit coming through, or you know, doing something. Because that energy level's just lifted way up. I always say if you're getting something every few minutes, it's no longer paranormal, it's normal. Exactly. They're kind of few and far between. No, I never seen that one. Life After Life puts a bag over the owner's head.
No,
No, I've not seen that one.
that's the end of our questions.
But I need to ask you, Kaz, between you and David, who's the most easily spooked? Who's the biggest scaredy?
I don't think either of us are.
None of
I've
these.
never seen him scared of anything, and I would say he would say he's never seen me scared of anything either. So I don't think we're. Throw a spider at David and you'll hear him scream. But other than that, no, neither of us are.
Or does he not like the spiders? No.
No, he doesn't like the spiders.
I'm his pal then because I'm petrified of them. Petrified, I hate them.
Yeah.
But see, obviously, I'm on your page and what have you, and you put a lot of work into it. You know, you both usually put an awful lot of work into it.
Yeah,
how much?
I think.
Mm-hmm. How much time, you know, roughly would you say you spend, average, on it? You know, with your kind of home and group balance, if you know what I mean.
The groups definitely take more time than what the page does. But we've got a couple of like great admins in the groups. But yeah, they pretty much, once they're established, they kind of run themselves, to be honest. As long as you've got like the groups, I mean, yeah, you get your trolls and you get your like you get the strange scammers going about just now that are just in every single group. It's just a matter of having like good admins to take care of it, and if like whoever can catch it first can kick them back out again. But yeah, once you've got a group established, it runs itself because the members post as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just to get it going. It's getting it started, but then once it's up and running, it's not bad.
To get it going, I mean, we've only been on the go since June, you know, and it's. But I wouldn't really say we're established yet or anything. You know, we've done our lives and we get quite a wee bit on our Facebook page. But it does take a lot of work, and I think that's another side that is important for people to see how much effort goes on behind the scenes. You know, like say running a group or setting up an investigation. Because I think a lot of people are under the impression that you just jump into the car one day and go. You know. But there is actually a lot more to it than meets the eye. Have you ever done that?
Me that takes it. Just jumped in a car and just gone.
Just go anywhere and get any good results.
I generally know roughly where I'm going. There's been the odd time that I think I kind of just turned up. I've been in the area and just seen a place and I thought, I'll just go live here. But generally I know roughly where I'm going. A lot of the abandoned places, my sense of direction leaves a lot to be desired for, to be honest. I get quite lost, even with a sat nav. Yeah, the higher places as well. So in general, we know.
So we can't hire anything because of the virus.
Yeah.
It has put a big stop on everything, you know, it's hindering quite a lot of people. And obviously we don't discuss it on our lives, but it's who knows when it's going to be over. Do you know what I mean? You know, it could be months, it could be years.
I think it'll be well into next year, to be honest.
And it is affecting.
I don't think it's over.
No, I don't see it ending any time soon. we're just taking kind of each week as it comes. So we're going out this Saturday, and then we don't know when we'll be back out. We're hoping to try to get something together, as you know, for Halloween. But then that depends on the way it goes, you know. But I think we're coming up with a plan B, which we'll talk to you about. We're trying to think of a plan B for it. So we just don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen, so nobody knows where you can go. And we haven't tried to do the vaults and made it kind of close and stuff like that. And you said, well, can you go? Can you not go? Can you travel? And then you can't car share, and you know, who knows? Know what I mean? But thanks very much for coming out. I know you're kind of pushed for time.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you for having me.
No, it's always a pleasure. We, as I say, we're going to try and organise something for Halloween, which we'll talk to you about. I don't know if anybody's got any quick questions for you in the chat before you leave.
I don't think so. I asked earlier.
So you've got off lightly then. You've got off lightly tonight. I've not seen anything go. So I know you're pushed for time. So it's been really great having you on though. And we'll talk to you again soon. And your regards to your man. I know he's just there beside you. I'm still getting used to his camera. Always end up pointing the wrong way. I know he's there that way. All right, so take care, and we'll cover you back on as well. I hope we'll have the two of you on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
When David's back in the feet, so to speak. All right, you take care, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. I thought I had a buzzing there. Sorry, I thought I had a buzzing through this. No, it's just me. So that's it for tonight, folks. It's just a wee short one tonight, but we are on Above Paranormal's channel on Friday at 9 o'clock. If you want to come on there, we'll be talking away to Brett Wolf. So thanks for coming in, and take care, everybody, and we hope to see you again soon. And can you stay on the panel for a wee minute? I think you've got 5 minutes to spare.
That's right.
Right.
Bye, guys.
So thanks again, everybody, and take care, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.